Press play.
But a year to make love, she wanted you to wait. Let me tell you a story of my situation. I was talking to this girl from the U.S. nation. The way that I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair and a short miniskirt. I just got on stage to perform with sweat. I was walking through the crowd, and guess who I met? I whispered in the air, come to the picture booth so I can ask you some questions to see if you're 100 proof. I asked her name, she said blah, blah, blah. She had 9, 10 pants and a very big bra. I took a couple of flips and she was enthused. I said, how do you like the show? She said I was very amused. I started throwing bass, she started throwing back mid-range. But when I sprung the question, she acted kind of stupid. Then when I asked, do you have a man? She tried to pretend. She said, no, I don't. I only have a friend. Come on. I'm not even going for it. This is what I'm going to say. You got what I need. But you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you.
All right, that was a little bit of fun right there. Let's get right into it. It's time for week 10. It's coming down to the wire, guys. It's Veterans Day in the U.S. So here I am, chilling in my army fatigue garb, ready to record this little video for you guys. So yeah, I had my fun. Let's jump right into previews. Actually, do it in order. So we're going to go with reviews first. Last week was week 9. Last week's high scorer was Brown Brady Bunch, just narrowly. But in a week where you had a bajillion points from Antonio Brown and Tom Brady, you know, there was really no defense there. I'll get more into the details later, but high score, Brown Brady Bunch. Low score, turned down for what? Turned down because you can't win a game. That's for what? The blowout of the week is going to be fuck you, Ben Affleck, over turned down for what? And the highest scorer of the week in terms of players on any team is D'Angelo Williams, a sought-after free agent, the most coveted piece in the waiver wire, picked up this week by Hide Your Trash. Biz Marquis hilarious. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of Paki, and I'm going to look up last week's matchups on my trusty cellular phone, sponsored by Samsung. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so week 9. I'm going to start top to bottom. So, winning his 7th game in a row, fuck you, Ben Affleck, took over, just ran wild, all over, turned down for what? There's not much to say here. I already mentioned is the blowout of the week. So let me not waste too much time on the specifics. However, Ben Affleck, 18 from Fitzpatrick, a regular performance for Devontae Freeman, 17 points. Julio Jones doing his things, but no touchdowns. Edelman found the end zone. And you got some good points on your defensive end. In terms of turned down for what? Eli Manning followed up a spectacular week with 2 TDs, 2 interceptions, and only 12 points. CJ Anderson found some playing time. Didn't amount to much. You started CJ Spiller. Why? I don't understand your logic. Brandon LaFell, he looked useful for a game or two. Darius Green goes back to Paki's theory of you can't win with a 0. He didn't play. You knew he wasn't going to play. You could have subbed that spot with anything. As a matter of fact, I think Travis Benjamin, isn't he a tight end? You would put him in the tight end spot and picked up anything in your flex. You only left 6.5 points on the bench, so it's not like you had much of a chance to do anything anyway. Just a word of note, Gary decided to go Fitzpatrick over Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck scored more points. Andrew Luck also out for the immediate future. The big guns in the second matchup, I got Gurley and the Beast versus Hingles Kringles. Stupid ass name. Gurley and the Beast completed a takeover in the Monday night game. A new acquisition, Phillip Rivers, solid 15 points. Great game for Lamar Miller. Todd Gurley doing the Todd Gurley thing. There are, let me see here. Positions, quarterback, running back, receiver, including Des Bryant, all caught touchdowns. Keith Miller had a modest day, 32 yards on 3 catches. Alshon Jeffrey had a spectacular day, 10 catches, 151 yards. He didn't score, but it didn't matter. Of course, he was Hingles Kringle was in the lead going into Monday night, but I guess Gurley was confident knowing that he had Phillip Rivers, he had Alshon Jeffrey, and John Lambo all going on Monday. So there you have it. This is the second loss in a row for Hingles Kringles. You started Ben Roethlisberger. I don't blame you, but Ben Roethlisberger got injured, hurt his foot. That's going to suck. He did give you 21 points before he went out, though. Score from Frank Gore. No one thought he had it in him, scoring against Denver. Dion Lewis lost for the season, torn ACL. Not a good look. Demaryius Thomas, I mean, he can't throw the ball to himself. So he did about as much as he could to defend himself to make this a salvageable game. Nonetheless, only 5 catches for 50 yards. Landry, modest game. A good amount of catches, but no touchdowns. Gronkowski, kind of quiet. 4 receptions, 47 yards. Gangsta's Paradise. Get out of here with that. Here we go. Coolio for that ass. All right. Defense scored. You got a lot of points from your defense and your kicker. 8.5, 8.5. That's 17. 30 and wow, 41 points from your kicker and special teams defense. However you want to see it. Jeremy Langford. Now, why would you go through the trouble of picking up a player on the waiver wire and then not starting him? I mean, I don't know if I can blame you. Dion Lewis against Washington. It looked like a favorable matchup. Frank Gore, that didn't seem too favorable, even though that ended up giving you more points. It didn't give you more points, however, than Jeremy Langford. If you count the difference by what you lost by, you would have lost by less, but you still would have lost even if you had started him. So, who knows? All right, let's go to the next matchup. Hide Your Trash versus No Problem. Got my suit and tie. Hide Your Trash. Wow, just barely won this one. I'm going to say that it went down to the wire and it was decided by the Monday night game. However, Hide Your Trash had 2 30-point performances. One of them damn near 40. We had 32 from Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception in a losing effort. But he came back, gave Carolina a little bit of lemon booty. D'Angelo Williams, pickup of the week, the most desired waiver pickup. 37 points. 37.5 points. Odell Beckham Jr., 105 yards, no touchdowns. Good week for Tavon Austin. I don't know if you had him on your team already, but not bad. Ruben Randall, 40 yards and a touchdown. Overall, looked good. You didn't really have any other choices on the bench, so you went with what you had, and it was enough this week to beat Donnie. Donnie started Marcus Mariota off the bench, presumably to cover for the fact that you weren't going to have, well, you didn't have staph infection anyway. Who was your quarterback prior to that? I guess you had none. Shane Vereen, you as a manager can't seem to get out of your way. You know, they don't really do it for you. But I mean, at least Shane Vereen got a touchdown, so that's about as much as you can hope. Emmanuel Sanders, he ended up outscoring T.Y. Hilton, so you don't look like such of a fool there. Stevie Johnson, that was a consensus pick. Most people wanted him. Thought he would do good. Greg Olsen, consistently one of the better players on your team. Delaney Walker, 7 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 27 points. You were close, man. You only lost by a little less than 4 points. So, I mean, we can only do what we can, man. Good try, nonetheless. You're a loser this week. All right, who we got next? El Chapo's escape route versus Loud Motherfucker in a battle of futility. At least El Chapo made it somewhat respectable with a good performance from DeMarco Murray, who finally found his role in that offense. Nothing else to report there. Everything else was garbage. Let's see here. Loud Motherfucker started Drew Brees, 4 touchdowns. Wow. What was it? 7 last week, 4 this week, 11 touchdowns in 2 games. Ronnie Hillman, man, that's a tough luck loss right there. Ronnie Hillman just named the starter for the Denver Broncos at running back. He got you 1 yard, then he got hurt. Sammy Watkins, fantabulous game. I think I made up a word. Fantabulous. That is absolutely great. He had the game of this year, at least for him. 26 points, 168 yards. Randall Cobb, 17 points, found the end zone. You started Vernon Davis. Don't know why. No points, no catches. Pierre Garçon, 70 yards on 4 catches. Not bad. You were probably going to win this week anyway. It seemed for a moment like El Chapo had given up, but he managed to get a respectable score, 97 points. Good enough to beat at least 2 other teams this week. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, Gotham City Rogues, Brown Brady Bunch. Man, 130 points is spectacular. Gotham City Rogue got tremendous contributions from Cam Newton, Danny Woodhead, Eric Decker with his usual little song and dance, and Amari Cooper. Unfortunately, you know, the peaks were not enough to overthrow the valleys. 33 points from Newton, 20 from Woodhead, and 18 for Cooper were not enough to overcome the 5 measly points from Jeremy Hill. Rashard Matthews, I don't understand why you continuously start Rashard Matthews. Dante Hightower, I had him for a week. Total letdown. He's only had 1 good week this year. It just turned out that you ran into a buzzsaw this week. Tom Brady, modest day. And when I say modest day, he only gave you 18.9 points. Mark Ingram, 11 points. If you look at the highest scorers in terms of running back, Mark Ingram's number 2. I bet most of you didn't know that. Carlos Williams, even on the day where LaShawn McCoy went ape shit, bonkers. Carlos Williams had 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, good for 23 points. Allen Robinson, 15 points and 121 yards and 6 catches. Michael Crabtree, his probably the game of the year, 108 points and 2 touchdowns, 27.3 points in a shootout against Pittsburgh. Charles Clay, not worth mentioning. Antonio Brown, 17 catches, 284 yards. Wow. Unga, the linebacker for the Giants, I think he might be out for the year. By the way, it was announced that he wasn't going to play. You probably had more options. I mean, it's a defensive player. Pick anybody. Slot him in there. You didn't do so. You still got a 0. It did not matter. You left 15 points from a tight end on the bench. Had you started him instead of Clay, probably, I don't know, under 70 points maybe. All right, moving on. Deflate This versus Real City Butterflies. Deflate This is looking like the manager of the year. An insane amount of trades. 105 points. Would not have beaten a lot of other teams this week Fortunately for him, he went up against the Real City Butterflies, who anybody can beat. Holy crap. Anyway, Kirk Cousins. Yuck. Why the hell did you start him? It didn't matter. 10 points for him. At least he got you double digits. 19 for Adrian Peterson. But Garrett Blunt benefited from the fact that Dion Lewis was lost early in the game. 120 yards and a touchdown. Dorial Green Beckham. You down with DGB? Who is this Inman character, and why did you start him? Let's see here. I guess you started him because you had really no other options. So I'll let that one slide. I won't criticize too much. On the other side, Derek Carr, 26.3 points in that Pittsburgh shootout that I mentioned earlier. Darren McFadden looking good in his role. No touchdowns, but 117 yards rushing. Darren McFadden looking good. Brandon Marshall, quarterback proof, don't matter who throws to him, he's going to catch it. Paki made off like a bandit. Or did he? He traded A.J. Green, probably on A.J. Green's worst week. 4 catches, 53 yards, no touchdowns. But at the same time, or by the same token, the player you got in return, Doug Martin, didn't do much either. Let's see here. Eddie Lacy gave you minus 2 points. James Starks gave you 21.2 points. You know what? Had you started James Starks instead of Eddie Lacy, you would have won. But there's Ivan for you. You go from Manager of the Year to Sucker of the Year. All right, tight matchup for the Commissioner Bowl. I'm going to end this review with the Commissioner Bowl. Man, this was a nail biter. Don't let the final score fool you. Even though it was decided on Sunday night, at the end of Sunday night, I was already losing. There was no way for me to come back. It was close. It was closer than you guys think. It went down by about 6 points. There was, again, another 0. All Paki has to do is say something for it to not come true. Absolutely. He got a 0. He won. He got a Malcolm Floyd at 0, who got injured in the game. Oh, man. Going through these notes. Matt Ryan, 303 yards and a touchdown. Sean McCoy, 112 yards and a touchdown, even though Carlos Williams got 2. They just ran all over that defense. Duke Johnson, who Paki said would not have a good week. He didn't like my running backs. Suck my dick, Commissioner. The real Houdini is right here. I'm going to take a day one of these days and look over all of these predictions and see who actually picked more winners. Brandon Cooks, good game, 71 yards and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 152 yards on 8 catches. Even though he dropped like 11 balls, he still caught 8 for 152. Did not reach the end zone. Jordan Reed salvaged his day with 18 yards, 3 catches, and a touchdown against stingy New England. Marcus Colston, he did about as well as I could expect. I did leave, however, not counting Jake Cutler, who are probably going to start over Matt Ice anyway. I did leave 30 points on the bench. I lost by 6. Go figure. Tough luck loss. I went into this week at a disadvantage. On the Thursday night game, Andy Dalton and Tyler Eifert combined for 46 points, 47 points. Son of a bitch. Doug Martin, nothing. 31 yards and a fumble, good for 2.3 points. Ted fucking Ginn, as they like to call him in the fantasy football world. 3.5, 1 catch, 20 yards. Alan Hearns, the trade that I made go through, came back to bite me in the ass, but what are we going to do? Huh? What are we going to do? If you didn't start him, you probably would have gone with Devontae Adams, good for 14. Wow, that would have been close. Would have been real close. But, hindsight is always 20/20. All right, enough of that. Let's check out our matchups. You know what? Before I do the matchups for Week 10, let's talk a little bit about some of these waivers. Waiver wires has been quite active. There were only 8 waiver claims this week. El Chapo used the waiver claim to pick up Jameis Winston. Why? You would have waited, he would have still been there. Could have used a waiver for something else. Maybe wait till next week. Got something of value. because honestly, the waiver wire was kind of dry this week. Moving on from that, you drop Tannehill. Maybe someone interested in Tannehill might pick him up. Wink, wink. Looking at Omar. Hide your trash. Picked up Kai Forbath. Why on earth would you ever use a waiver to pick up a kicker? Is beyond me. You could have just waited till today and picked him up. I'm pretty sure he would have still been there. Hingles Kringles fortified his receiver core in the wake of having lost Dion Lewis by picking up Golden Tate. There is a rumor that Calvin Johnson may not be 100%. In the absence of Calvin Johnson, maybe Golden Tate gives you a respectable game. All right. Loud Morafoca picked up Dexter McCluster, who's there, who's not there. He gets picked up every week. He gets dropped every week. He's on Tennessee. He's part of the running back core. They got like 17 running backs. None of them are any good. Moving on. You dropped Isaiah Crowell. I don't know what to think about that. I think I might actually kept Crowell. Anyway, Crowell is now up in the waiver wire. Anyone who's interested, go pick him up. Paki dropped Tyrann Mathieu for a week. Took Floyd as a loner. Floyd got hurt. Picks up Mathieu again. Chino, whatever your team is called this week, you've had like probably the most names in fantasy this year. So I'll just go with Pica Pollo Chino, whatever. 2 claims this week. James White, probably the most coveted waiver wire pickup. A running back who's supposed to step in the absence of Dion Lewis. Dropped Brandon Merriweather. Also picked up Matt Jones. Forgot how you dropped for him. Doesn't even matter. Fuck you, Ben Affleck. Dropped Golden Tate earlier. Looking to get some receiver help. Picks up Mohamed Sanu. Did something happen to AJ Green that I was not aware of? Because I don't think that Mohamed Sanu is really worth a waiver claim. I think was it Marvin Jones came on stronger? Whatever, man. I can't argue with Gary. He is he's leading the league this year. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it for waiver claims. Let me just talk a little bit about activity. There's been a lot of movement outside of the waiver claim. It looks like, and as I play the old dirty bastard, I'm going to talk about El Chapo. My cousin Juan. Cousin Juan finally had enough. He dropped both of his quarterbacks. He said, to hell with Colin Kaepernick. Fuck Ryan Tannehill. I'm moving on. And he did. He picked up Larry Donnell, who I picked up and dropped twice. Piece of advice, cousin. He's not dependable, but I guess he's better than your alternative. You drop Lockett, the kick return specialist, picked up Doug Baldwin. Is Doug Baldwin the number 1 receiving option in Seattle? Does it even matter? Adeli always manages to get a good laugh out of us. He always he's been too smart for his own good this year. He picks up Wes Welker, who was recently announced that will be coming back. You didn't drop much to get him. You drop Marcus Wilson of the Chicago Bears. I don't know what his role is. I don't know what Wes Welker's role is, but whatever. For whatever's left in fantasy, is it going to matter? No. Let's see here. Hingles Kringles picked up Jay Ayaye, however you want to say that. He dropped Steve Smith Sr., who's out for the year. Again, I mean, it's worth the stash because you didn't really have to give up anything to get him. Gotham City Rogues picks up T. Walford and drops Robert Woods. Robert Woods is supposed to be great this year. I mean, not this year, but at least this week. I think he was mentioned in the trade, and you were steadfast. You weren't going to drop him. You weren't going to trade him. And here you go. The week after Sammy Watkins is back and looking like Sammy Watkins in college, you dropped Woods, picked up Walford. Woods dropped like a bad habit. Fuck you, Ben Affleck made a whole bunch of pickup and drops. For a moment, you have Torrey Smith. You dropped him to pick up Cole Beasley. Now, Torrey Smith is no good. He probably had his best game of the year. And also, there's no idea who the hell's going to be passing the ball to him. You picked up Cole Beasley, who probably had his best game of the year. With Des Bryant back, with a stable running back in McFadden. Jason Witten doing what Jason Witten does. It's still Matt Castle. Do you trust Cole Beasley to get 20 points? I mean, pick him up, put him on your bench. Are you ever going to start him? Probably not. Moving on. Pika Boyogina finally said to hell with it with Theo Riddick and picked up Robinson. Not even sure which Robinson this is. Whatever, it's of no note. Trade alert. Trade alert. Okay, so Deflate This got Joe Randall. Sorry, not Joe Randall. It's Ruben Randall and Joe Flacco from Hide Your Trash in exchange for LeGarrette Blount and Alexander Quan Alexander. I think that it was just, you threw in a linebacker there to make it kind of even. Who wins this one? I don't know. I'm inclined to say that probably whoever got Blunt got the better half of this deal, seeing as though he's probably going to be unopposed. I have absolutely no faith in this Dion Lewis. They don't even know if it's going to be him or Brandon Boulder. So flip a coin there. Another trade alert. New addition to the Omega El Forte team, Duke Johnson or actually both of them, Duke Johnson and Matt Ryan, 1 week loners. They're moving on to a new house, a new home, and that home is El Chapo's escape route. Duke Johnson and Matt Ryan, in addition to Jeremy Maclin, were traded in exchange for DeMarco Murray and Nate Washington. In order to make this trade go through, you have to drop Alfred Morris. I don't know why you just didn't send Alfred Morris to me. I mean, whatever. I would have stashed him there. Maybe his name is worth something. But whatever, was done is done, and moving on. Now, finally, without further ado, Week 10, the previews. The fuck am I listening to? Woo, give me some Paki. Shit. Alright, let's see. Let's go to week 10. It's supposed to be a 90s mix. All this shit is about kind of West Coastish. Alright, let's see who we got in week 10. Guys, week 10 hasn't happened yet, but it's week 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we effectively have, including this one, 4 weeks left in fantasy. If you're not in the 4-5 record, 5-4, 6-3, I wouldn't get your hopes up for a slot in the fantasy playoffs. So take that for whatever it's worth. Front to back, I'm going to start with Fuck You Ben Affleck going up against the Real City Butterflies. Okay, so Thursday night game, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick starting against Buffalo. This is on the Ben Affleck side. What the hell is going on here? Okay, projections have Real City Butterflies winning, but I don't trust Real City Butterflies to beat anybody. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Gio Bernard, Chris Johnson, Julian Edelman. I guess that 3 there, Cole Beasley, is not looking too good. Who do you have on bye? Wow. Okay, I see now. So, yeah, after having won 7 in a row, this week you're going to play without Devontae Freeman or Julio Jones. Andrew Luck is on bye, but it doesn't matter because he might be gone for the rest of the year. Aqib Talib is suspended. So you basically have the only options you have for a starting lineup, and it looks like this: Fitzpatrick, Gio Bernard, Chris Johnson, Julian Edelman, Cole Beasley, Gary Barnidge, Eric Ebron. Starting 2 tight ends. I don't know what to make of most of what Gary does, but to each his own. If ever there was a week for Real City Butterflies to take advantage, is going up against Gary, who is missing 2 key starters, 3 if you count Luck. He is putting out Derek Carr, TJ Yeldon, Darren McFadden, Brandon Marshall, AJ Green, Richard Rodgers, all of these should get you double digits. You might actually win this week, which is good. It gives the rest of us a chance to catch up. Eddie Lacy is currently in your starting lineup. Why? Why? All this talk about having Eddie Lacy and I wanted to trade him, and there he is in your starting lineup, giving you minus points. I got Jimmy. I got Jimmy. You got Jimmy on your bench, sucker. Only real concern for is it even a concern? You got 3 tight ends on your team, Ivan. Probably why you're losing. You can only start 1 unless you start him in flex, and that's just ridiculous. Kobe Fleener's on bye. You did nothing in the waivers. You've done no trades. Moving on. All right, who we got next? Gurley and the Beast versus the Brown Brady Bunch. Okay, we'll see. This one is an interesting matchup right here. Currently, it doesn't look like Gurley has set his lineup yet. So currently, the projection is leaning toward Brown Brady Bunch. Let's see. Phillip Rivers is on bye. You can always count on Gurley. Joyke Bell is in the starting lineup. Why on earth? That's probably going to be either Lynch or Lamar Miller. Alshon Jeffrey, beast. Des Bryant, he looks like he's back going against Tampa. Julius Thomas. Man, I don't even know what to think about Julius Thomas anymore. All right, well, I have no idea what to make of this lineup. It doesn't look like the lineup you're actually going to start. Your projected points, you have like 60 points on the bench, so I'm not putting any faith in that. At the end of the week, I think I'm still leaning kind of Gurley. Previous matchup, I'm going to pick Ivan. I'm going to go with the upset special. Pick Ivan to break that streak. I'm going Gurley in this matchup, even though it doesn't look like right now. I don't think that's the lineup he's going to put out there unless he's willing to lose a week. Brown Brady Bunch. Unga, drop him. I don't think he's coming back. You got your best lineup already listed, so let's move on from that. Hide Your Trash versus Turn Down for What? Again, I just don't see any hope in the Turn Down for What team. You didn't do anything this week to get any better. Ladarius Green on bye. Doesn't matter. He didn't play last week. You're starting C.J. Anderson. Probably the biggest bust. He would have been number 6 pick, but probably the biggest bust. Why are you starting C.J. Spiller? Yeah, it's against Washington, but why? Mark Ingram is still there. He's getting all his work. The one that got injured was Kyrie Robinson. So, Spiller, why? I don't know what you're doing there. Snead, stacking on New Orleans. Brandon LaFell actually had a good week last week. Maybe that carries over. I felt that was appropriate at that moment. All right. On the Hide Your Trash side, you're going to win, man. There's no even point in even debating this. But Aaron Rodgers, D'Angelo Williams, Odell Beckham. You recently, you have Larry Fitzgerald, who's cooled off, but he's still good. You recently completed a trade, and you got LeGarrette Blount, who still hasn't made his way over to your starting lineup. I'm guessing he'll go in place of Melvin Gordon, and it's a no-brainer. You win this week. Hide Your Trash. Moving on to it's gonna be 5-5 after this week, in my opinion. Well, let's see here. Who's the next matchup? El Chapo's Escape Route, ranked number 14, currently at 1-8, versus the Rising Like Champagne. May the Forset be with you. Forsett has no one on bye. He has a good amount of points available on the bench if he needs them, but he gets back all his starters this week. Andy Dalton, Forsett, Doug Martin hopefully has a better week for him. Calvin Johnson, supposedly dealing with a high ankle sprain, but he's had a bye week to rest. He's going deep into the week, so he should be okay. Alan Hearns, matchup proof against Baltimore. You should have a monster game. Tyler Eifert against Houston. Who the hell defends him? On the other side, doesn't really matter. Jameis Winston, Rashard Jennings, projected for less than double digits. James Jones, boy, did he cool off. I mean, it would. Note to self, cousin. Next year, if you get a player like a James Jones and somebody offers you a trade, get a couple weeks of production and then move him. Because right now, Green Bay basically has all their team back, and James Jones is not doing a thing for you. Amendola, why you picked him up? No idea. Larry Donnell, starting on your starting lineup, projected to get 0. I think he's currently questionable at best. Nate Washington currently on your lineup, but he'll soon be on mine. I'm assuming this won't be the starting lineup you have after our trade goes through. I'm thinking maybe Macklin and Duke Johnson make it into your lineup. And you will not have DeMarco Murray. I'm picking Forsett in this one, sadly, because that means he gets one step further away from me. All right, this week we have the Gotham City Rogues narrowly holding on to their place in the playoffs, but trending downward now. Dropped to 4 at 6-3 against Loud Morafoca. At least you got an easy matchup this week. Loud Morafoca. This is how I'm going to say it every time I say it. I kind of enjoy how that sounds. Loud Morafoca. All right, so Cam Newton, Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill has been trash. And what is this guy's name? Andrews in Tennessee. I don't remember his first name. I'm gonna call him Andrew. Andrew. Wow. At least you got the Andre Hopkins. I mean, it's for as much as Paki has praised the depth of your team, it's really only your receivers. You have Danny Woodhead on bye, which is crucial, seeing as how he's been double digits just about every week. On paper, it looks like you have more points, but you cannot trust those 11 points from Jeremy Hill. He'll find a way to muck that up, probably give you 3. Andrews against Carolina, that's a really good defense for them to be projecting 10 points for him. I don't see that happening. Cincinnati is not only a good defense, they tend to injure people, and that's who DeAndre Hopkins is playing against. Eric Decker, Thursday night against Buffalo. Buffalo is a decent defense, not great, but decent. Rex Ryan is pretty good at his defense. Fitzpatrick is going to play with his messed up thumb so far because they don't have any better options. And if he gets subbed out, then what do they have? I don't think Gino's ready to come back. So what comes after Gino? That's the bad part about a team that relies on receivers. They're only as good as the quarterback throwing to them. So it's not looking great for you, my friend. Amari Cooper is actually one of the better options you have this week, but he's going against Minnesota. Minnesota is tooth and nails tough. Lau Morafoca, Drew Brees, has 11 touchdowns. I don't foresee him slowing down. Going up against Washington this week. Andre Ellington, why? Explain to me, why the hell you're still starting Andre Ellington? When are you going to learn your lesson? He's not getting the burn. Get him out of your lineup. Who do you have? McCluster, you picked him up for a reason. Put freaking McCluster in there. Let's see what happens. Shit, mix it up. Andre Ellington is not playing good football. I won't call him a bad football player yet. Kansas City against Denver. Denver finally lost their undefeated record. Hopefully coming out looking for blood. They'll come out and Ronnie Hillman, he's dealing with some thigh injury, I believe. Not projected to do double digits. On the other hand, they do have Chase Anderson at double digits, so who knows? This is a toss-up. Sammy Watkins, after a stunning, amazing, fantastic game, he is dealing with a slight injury. I believe it's still his ankle that he's not totally recovered from. He looked good with Tyrod Taylor. Against the Jets, though, Revis Island, Cromartie, not projecting double-digit points, especially on Thursday when no one really seems to play well. Let's see, Randall Cobb against Detroit. Bet the house on Randall Cobb. He'll get you good points. Vernon Davis is still in your starting lineup. Jordan Cameron? Why not? I'll tell you why not. I'll tell you why. Because Vernon Davis is not good. Vernon Davis hasn't found his role in that team yet. He's not going against spectacular defense, but they do kind of play the tight end well. Let's not forget, they added Vernon Davis, and Owen Dennis probably had the best game of the year, of his year. So, I don't know. Move on from him. Pierre Garcon versus Amari Cooper. If it was head-to-head, I still pick Amari Cooper. All the signs point towards Gotham City, but you know what? Upset special again. I'm picking Laud Murafuka. Let's see here. Deflate this. Currently at 6-3, winner of 5 in a row, and now in third place, overtaking the Gotham City Rogues against number 10, Suit and Tie. Oh, a little bit of showmanship, some boasting on the side of Deflate This. He has no projected points, as all of his players are on the bench. And he did complete a trade that hasn't gone through yet. Is it processed? Let me see here. That would mean, yep, Ruben Randall and Joe Flacco are on the team, so that means that you're going to have a bit of a quandary in selecting a starting lineup. The only bye week to worry about is Navarro Bowman. Does it much matter? Probably not. Even though right now I can't tell what starting lineup you're going to have, I'm thinking that the best lineup you put out there is probably going to be better than whatever Suit and Tie has. Mariota had a great game last week. I don't foresee that happening again, not against Carolina, which is still undefeated, by the way. Jonathan Stewart against Tennessee, those are better odds of scoring. Matt Jones, it's against New Orleans. Their defense is not great. Who knows? You have not put T.Y. Hilton back on your starting lineup. That's because he's on a bye. All right, that would make sense. 3 buys on this side. There is DeQuell Jackson, T.Y. Hilton, and Stevie Johnson. So, yeah, you pretty much have the best lineup you can put out there. It's good for a projected 91 points. I'm going to take Deflate this week. And the last matchup. Man, this one is crucial. I have been free falling, and I am currently at 7th place, currently outside of the playoffs. If this was an 18 playoff, I would probably scare the shit out of somebody, because this team, it's good, man. It's coming together, and it's only getting stronger. Now I got the DeMarco Murray coming on board, so given my bye weeks, Matt Ryan on bye, Phil Dawson on bye. Phil Dawson I can do without it. He's probably getting dropped. I got an error when I tried to use my waivers, and I wasn't able to pick or use any waiver claims. So nothing on the waiver wire. Did, however, complete a trade, and I have another one about to just kind of push it over. Let's see how that goes. Jay Cutler against St. Louis. St. Louis is a tough defense, or so they say. I believe they lost last week, so look for them to come on strong, even though Jay Cutler had a stellar game against San Diego. San Diego, for as much talk as we say, they have a lot of good players. They're giving you fantasy, awesome fantasy numbers. They're 2-7. I think Chicago is actually better than them right now. Chicago, or actually Cutler, good against St. Louis. It's not the best matchup, but I don't really have a choice. LaShawn McCoy says he'll play against the Jets. The Jets defense is good, cooled off a little bit, but if he plays, he should be, LaShawn McCoy, shady. Duke Johnson Jr. currently on my team. He will not be there by the time game time comes around. He will be the newest member of El Chapo's team. Hopefully that slot will be filled by DeMarco Murray. Brandon Cooks had a good 2 good weeks, the last 2 weeks, and this week goes against Washington. That should be a squash, and I expect a lot of points for Brandon Cooks. Mike Evans against Dallas. Dallas's defense is not as legit as the vaunted offensive line. So Mike Evans, look for him to have a good game. Jordan Reed, neither one of these defenses are great. I honestly think that Washington defense is better, even though their offense is not good. New Orleans has good offense, bad defense. They just lost to Tennessee. I'm hoping that Jordan Reed tonight gets at least salvaged by a touchdown. Macklin, currently in my starting lineup. He won't be there by the time game time rolls around. Forte will not play this week. Neither will Robbie Gold, but I think whoever picked him up recently just dropped him. Danny Trevathan, he'll probably make his way to my starting lineup. I'm still holding on to Marcus Colston. Given my current lineup, I may not have a better option. On the other side, Ingles McCringleberry, who is currently now number 2 after starting the year undefeated, has dropped 2 in a row. He gets Tyrod Taylor, returning after a good week last week. We're playing on Thursday after having played Sunday. And against the Jets, not a good look for him. Latavius Murray, I believe he's still undergoing concussion protocols. I haven't got an update that will tell me otherwise. I'm thinking that he might be held out of this game. Jeremy Langford, you didn't start him last week. You may probably learn from your mistake and start him this week. Let's see how that plays out for you. Does he have it, to repeat what he did last week against San Diego, this week against St. Louis? Demaryius Thomas against Kansas City, bet the house on that. Doesn't matter how bad Peyton Manning is, he will carve up Kansas City. Thomas will get his points. Landry against Philadelphia. Chip Kelly's system, I have no faith in it. Landry should get his points. Gronk against the Giants. A man who is untackleable against a team that can't tackle. I love my New York Giants. As you can see, my jersey right here. Big Giants fan. Also a Crows fan. Also a Minnie Mouse fan. Right over there. SpongeBob is right there. Don't judge me. All right. And Golden Tate rounds out your offensive players. We never know what the hell is going to happen when we consider our defense, even though whoever dropped Lavonte Davis and gave it to you is a sucker. Frank Gore is going to be on bye. That shouldn't really concern you since you're starting Mr. Langford. Ben Roethlisberger out for a while. He was your starter last week. You're getting Tyrod Taylor. Is that enough to let me go over? I don't know. And on bye also Andrew. Wait, is it Andrew? No. It's Andre. It's Andre Johnson. My bad. And this week, you know what? 3 upset specials. 3 hembras en una semana. I am currently not favored to win this. I don't like the matchups that my players have. Nonetheless, I'm going to pick me this week. It looks like Kingles Kringles is trending downward. I still have a trade that hasn't gone all the way through, and when it does, I want to see what my team looks like. I'm playing possibly for my chances to get into the playoffs, so it's pulling out all stops. All right, so I talked for a good amount. I gave you some throwback music. Smoke this magic pen here. I think I covered everything I wanted to this week, guys. That's it. That's how I'm going to wrap up this week. Good luck to everyone in week 10. This may be the deciding week in our playoff seeding. So, good luck. Deuces. And thank God for all our men and women overseas. Happy Veterans Day.